ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः जन्माद्यस्य तोऽन्वयादितरतश्च अर्थेष्वभिघ्नस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजोवारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसङ्गोमृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं संसदेवताभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो नमः श्रीमद्भागवतमहापुराण आचार्येभ्यो नमः अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः Before we start our Bhagavata Parayanam, followed by studying the most important, crucial topic, wherein Bhagavan Krishna answering to Dava's question of who is bound. Today is second day of this Ganesh Chaturthi festivals. We will do two stotras chanting. Shri Gananayaka Ashtakam Ganesha Pancharatna Stotram. A very, very small. Om Ata Shri Mahaganadipati Prityartham Mahaganadipati Anugrahena शास्त्रोक्त परमात्मा अनुभव प्राप्त्यर्थम श्री गणनायक अष्टकम श्री गणेश पंचरत्न स्तोत्रम पारायणम वयम सर्वे करिष्यामहे आदौ श्री गणनायक अष्टकम ओम एकदन्तं महाकायं तप्तकाञ्चन सन्निभं लंबोदरं विशालाक्षं वन्देऽहं गणनायकम् मौञ्जी कृष्णाजिनधरं नागयज्ञोपवीतिनं बालेन्दुशकलं मौळौ वन्देऽहं गणनायकं चित्ररत्नविचित्राङ्गं चित्रमालाविभूषितं कामरूपधरं देवं वन्देऽहं गणनायकं गजवक्त्रं सुरश्रेष्ठं कर्णचामरभूषितं पाशाङ्कुशधरं देवं वन्देऽहं गणनायकं मूषकोत्तममारुह्य देवासुरमहाहवे योद्धुकामं महावीरं वन्देऽहं गणनायकं यक्षकिन्नरगन्धर्व सिद्धविद्याधरैः सदा स्तूयमानं महाबाहुं वन्देऽहं गणनायकम् अम्बिकाहृदयानन्दं मातृभिः परिवेष्टितं भक्तप्रियं मदोन्मत्तं वन्देऽहं गणनायकं सर्वविघ्नहरं देवं सर्वविघ्नविवर्जितं सर्वसिद्धिप्रदातारं वन्देऽहं गणनायकं गणाष्टकमिदं पुण्यं यः पठेत् सततं नरः सिद्ध्यन्ति सर्वकार्याणि विद्यावान् धनवान् भवेत् इति श्रीगणनायकाष्टकम् ॐ वन्दे गणेशं भुजगेन्द्रभूषणं समस्तभक्ताळिकृतातितोषणं विश्वम्भरासंस्थितलोकरक्षणं मदीयपापौघतमस्सु पूषणम् अतः श्रीगणेशपञ्चरत्नस्तोत्रम् ॐ मुदाकरात्तमोदकं सदा विमुक्तिसाधकं कलाधरावतंसकं विलासिलोकरक्षकम् अनायकैकनायकं विनाशिते भदैत्यकं नताशुभाशुनाशकं नमामि तं विनायकम् न ते तरातिभीकरं नवोदितार्कभास्वरं नमः सुरारिनिर्जरं नताधिकापदुद्धरं सुरेश्वरं निधीश्वरं गजेश्वरं गणेश्वरं महेश्वरं तमाश्रये परात्परं निरन्तरम् समस्तलोकशङ्करं निरस्तदैत्यकुञ्जरं दरेतरोदरं वरं वरे भवक्त्रमक्षरं कृपाकरं क्षमाकरं मुदाकरं यशस्करं मनस्करं नमस्कृतां नमस्करोमि भास्वरम् अकिञ्चनार्तिमार्जनं चिरन्तनोक्तिभाजनं पुरारिपूर्वनन्दनं सुरारिगर्वचर्वणं प्रपञ्चनाशभीषणं धनञ्जयादिभूषणं कपोलदानवारणं भजे पुराणवारणम् नितान्तकान्तदन्तकान्तिमन्तकान्तकात्मजम् अचिन्त्यरूपमन्तहीनम् अन्तराय कृन्तनं हृदन्तरे निरन्तरं वसन्तमेव योगिनां तमेकदन्तमेव तं विचिन्तयामि सन्ततम् महागणेश पञ्चरत्नमादरेण योऽन्वहं प्रजल्पति प्रभातके हृदि स्मरन् गणेश्वरम् अरोगतामदोषतां सुसाहितीं सुपुत्रतां समाहितायुरष्टभूतिमभिपैति सोचिरात् इति श्री आद्यशङ्कर विरचित श्री गणेश पञ्चरत्नस्तोत्रं सम्पूर्णम् ओम शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. In our Bhagavata chanting 24th we have seen yesterday. Let us do the 25th chapter with all Shraddha Ekagrata. Om Srimad Bhagavata Mahapuran Parayanam Ekadasha Skandaha Muktirhitva Rupam Sarupena Vyavastitihi Atha Panchavimshodhyayah Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Om Gunanam Asamishranam Pumanyena Yatha Bhavet तन्मे पुरुषवर्येदं उपधारय शंसतः शमोदमस्तितिक्षेक्षा तपः सत्यं दया स्मृतिः तुष्टिस्त्यागो स्पृहा श्रद्धा ह्रीर्दयादिः स्वनिर्वृतिः काम ईहा मदस्तृष्णा स्तम्भ आशीर्भिदा सुखं मदोत्साहो यशः प्रीतिः हास्यं वीर्यं बलोद्यमः क्रोधो लोभोऽनृतं हिंसा याञ्चादम्भः क्लमः कलिः शोकमोहौ विषादार्ति निद्राशाभिरनुद्यमः सत्त्वस्य रजसश्चैताः तमसश्चानुपूर्वशः वृत्तयो वर्णितप्रायाः सन्निपातमथो शृणु सन्निपातस्त्वहमिति ममेत्युद्धवयामतिः व्यवहारः सन्निपातः मनोमात्रेन्द्रियासुभिः धर्मे चार्थे च कामे च यदासौ परिनिष्ठितः गुणानां सन्निकर्षोऽयं श्रद्धारतिधनावहः प्रवृत्तिलक्षणे निष्ठा पुमान् यर्हि गृहाश्रमे स्वधर्मे चानुतिष्ठेत गुणानां समितिर्हि सा पुरुषं सत्त्वसंयुक्तम् अनुमीयात् शमादिभिः कामादिभिरजो युक्तं क्रोधाद्यैस्तमसायुतं यदा भजति मां भक्त्या निरपेक्षः स्वकर्मभिः तं सत्त्वप्रकृतिं विद्यात् पुरुषं स्त्रियमेव वा यदा ह्याशिष आशास्य मां भजेत स्वकर्मभिः तं रजः प्रकृतिं विद्यात् हिंसाम् आशास्य तामसं सत्त्वं रजस्तम इति गुणा जीवस्य नैव मे चित्तजायैस्तु भूतानां सज्जमानो निबध्यते यदेतरौ जयेत् सत्त्वं भास्वरं विशदं शिवं तदा सुखेन युज्येत धर्मज्ञानादिभिः पुमान् यदा जयेत्तमः सत्त्वं रजः संगं भिदाचलं तदा दुःखेन युज्येत कर्मणा यशसा श्रिया यदा जयेत् रजः सत्त्वं तमो मूढं लयं जडं युज्येत शोकमोहाभ्यां निद्रया हिंसयाशया यदा चित्तं प्रसीदेत च इन्द्रियाणां च निर्वृतिः देहे अभयं मनो असङ्गं तत्सत्त्वं विद्धि मत्पदम् विकुर्वन् क्रियया चाधीः अनिर्वृत्तिश्च चेतसां गात्रा स्वास्थ्यं मनोभ्रान्तं रज एतैर्निशामय सीदच्चित्तं विलीयेत चेतसो ग्रहणे अक्षमं मनो नष्टं तमोग्लानिः तमस्तदुपधारय एधमाने गुणे सत्त्वे देवानां बलमेधते असुराणां च रजसि तमस्युद्धवरक्षसां सत्त्वात् जागरणं विद्यात् रजसा स्वप्नमादिशेत् प्रस्वापं तमसा जन्तोः तुरीयं त्रिषु सन्ततम् उपर्युपरि गच्छन्ते सत्त्वेन ब्राह्मणा जनाः तमसाधोऽथ आमुख्यात् रजसान्तरचारिणः सत्त्वे प्रलीनाः स्वर्यान्ते नरलोकं रजोलयाः तमोलयास्तु निरयं यान्ति मामेव निर्गुणाः मदर्पणं निष्फलं वा सात्विकं निजकर्म ततो राजसं फलसङ्कल्पं हिंसाप्रायादितामसं कैवल्यं सात्विकं ज्ञानं रजो वैकल्पिकं जयतु प्राकृतं तामसं ज्ञानं मन्निष्ठं निर्गुणं स्मृतं वनं तु सात्विको वासः ग्रामो राजसो उच्यते तामसं द्यूतसदनं मन्निकेतं तु निर्गुणं सात्विकः कारको असङ्गी रागान्धो राजसः स्मृतः तामसः स्मृतिविभ्रष्टः निर्गुणो मदपाश्रयः सात्विक्याध्यात्मिकी श्रद्धा कर्म श्रद्धा तु राजसे तामस्य धर्मे या श्रद्धा मत्सेवायां तु निर्गुणा पथ्यं भूतमनायस्तम् आहार्यं सात्विकं स्मृतं राजसं च इन्द्रियप्रेष्ठं तामसं चार्तिदाशुचि सात्विकं सुखमात्मोत्थं विषयोत्थं तु राजसं तामसं मोहदैन्योत्थं निर्गुणं मद अपाश्रयं द्रव्यं देशः फलं कालः ज्ञानं कर्म च कारकः श्रद्धावस्थाकृतिर्निष्ठा त्रैगुण्यः सर्व एव हि सर्वे गुणमया भावाः पुरुषा व्यक्तधिष्ठिताः दृष्टं श्रुतम् अनुध्यातं बुद्ध्या वा पुरुषर्षभ एताः संस्कृतयः पुंसः गुणकर्मनिबन्धनाः ये नेमे निर्जिताः सौम्य गुणा जीवेन चित्तजाः भक्तियोगेन मन्निष्ठः मद्भावाय प्रपद्यते तस्माद्देहमिमं लब्ध्वा ज्ञानविज्ञानसम्भवं गुणसङ्गं विनिर्धूय मां भजन्तु विचक्षणाः निस्सङ्गो मां भजेत् विद्वान् अप्रमत्तो जितेन्द्रियः रजस्तमश्चाभिजयेत् सत्त्वसंसेवया मुनिः सत्त्वं चाभिजयेत् युक्तः नैरपेक्षेण शान्तधीः सम्बध्यते गुणैर्मुक्तः जीवो जीवं विहाय माम जीवो जीवविनिर्मुक्तः गुणैश्चाशयसम्भवैः मयैव ब्रह्मणा पूर्णः न बहिर्नान्तरश्चरेत् इति श्रीमद्भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायाम् एकादशस्कन्धे पञ्चविंशोऽध्यायः। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम, श्रीभागवत शरणं मम, श्रीसद्गुरु शरणं मम, श्रीसोता शरणं मम, श्रीशुकदेव शरणं मम, श्रीव्यास शरणं मम, श्रीनारद शरणं मम, श्रीकुमार शरणं मम, Shri Brahma Sharanam Mama, Shri Vishnu Sharanam Mama, Shri Parabrahma Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Sharanam Mama, Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. Om Gangarodhi Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Krupatamaham Vande Paramanandamadhavam Swarge Satyeja Kailase Vaikunte Naste Amrasa Atap Pibantu Sadbhagyaha Mama Munchada Karhechada Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha Srimad Bhagavata Mahapuranam Ekadasha Skandha Muktirhitva Rupam Sarupena Vyavastitehi Atha Ashtavimshodhyayaha Shri Uddhava Uvacha Shri Bhagavanuvacha. Having saluted Bhagavan Ganesha, also all Bhagavata Acharyas, Avataras, Bhaktas, also all our Guru Parampara, Parabrahma and Shruti Mata. We are studying Bhagavata Mahapuranam, Ekadasha Skandham, Mukti Skandham. We are in this 28th chapter, where Bhagavan is teaching Paratattva through Uddhava to all of us. Always what we should know is, that mercury, what you call it in Hindi, I don't know, you can never catch it only. It goes on slipping away from the hands. So is this the knowledge about Paramatma Tattva. So is the knowledge about the sadhana to reach to Paramatma Tattva. It appears that you have caught it, but the time you thought it, it is lost, slips from our mind, from our memory, from our recognition, for various reasons of our not commitment, not sincere, etc. And also because of our being extroverted, as well as our equipments are not made fit. That is why till we catch it, we have to go on listening on. Till we start doing it, we have to go on listening. Till we establish in doing it, we have to go on listening. Till we reach it, we have to go on listening. Even after reaching also, whether we have reached or not, for that also we have to listen. Only after that we can have the chance of not listening. But there's another responsibility starts, that of speaking or telling others. That's called as Swadhyaya Pravachanabhyam na Pramaditavyam Swadhyaya Pravachaneva. In the same way, see, the body of ours. Give bath, if it is especially the hot summer season, within 10 minutes only you can see again all the sweat and dirt coming. So too, the Vyavaharika Jagat, Samsarika Jagat, even you wash off it with little of Viveka Vairagya, spiritual sadhana, again, just it finds our inadvertence or being absent minded, enough that again comes inside. हम देखो दिन में 3 बार धुलाई क्या, 10 बार भी धुलाई करो, फिर से वो गंदा होता है. So to the worldliness, as if you got vairagya suddenly one day, within next 10 minutes, under 1 hour, that vairagya has gone somewhere else. Is it not? About this person or object, I will not think only. Saying so, in 2 minutes again we start thinking. Or this particular activity or indulgence, I will not involve in. 1 day, 2 day, again it comes. That is why, till it goes away from our heart, we have to, at least at the mind level, we have to keep away from the world. So, keeping away from this world, therefore, is called Dussanga Tyagaha, always being in touch with the truth through the Shravanam of Shastra is called Satsanga Swikaranam. And it goes on, goes on, goes on, goes on, till our full personality is filled with intellectual knowledge about the self, and our life is filled with sadhanas to reach the self till we reach it out. It is the way any and every sadhaka has helped himself evolved in his life. So we are also slowly entering into that groove by the grace of Guru Parampara, Rishi Parampara, and the parents' blessings and our own sankalpa, our own punya, our own purushartha. Earlier we have done purushartha, that's how today we are given this chance. Knowing this, conscious let us become that we have purushartha to do. From my side, taking the sankalpas, I have to keep doing whatever sadhanas I am convinced about, required to do, and can do. In this way, a person mounts his entire personality from samsara to the sadhana, and through that he reaches to the siddhi. Okay. Now, Bhagavan Krishna almost now concluded his all leelas. All of them are eliminated, only the Yadavas are there. But they also in a day or two or three in the Bhagavata story, with mutual quarrel, they also go away. And in that, Balaram also goes away, he also goes away. Before that, to Uddhava, Bhagavan Krishna, so beautifully, this entire Ekadasha Skandha Mukti Jnanam he is giving. In that also, the last chapter is this 28. In that, Bhagavan cannot now but give the ultimate and best of the knowledge. Bhagavan Uddhav ko dete. And Maitreya Rishi also is listening there. Then when Uddhava and Vidura meet there in Vrindavanam, when Vidurji asks, what about Bhagavan and all, he says he is gone, Krishna Dyumni Nimloche. And then what he told about the Tattva Jnanam to me, then give me that knowledge. Vidurji asks. Then Buddha says, Bhagavan order to me is to go to Badrinath, there do tapasya. He has given the job of giving this knowledge to you, to Sri Maitreya Rishi. That's how the Maitreya Vidura they meet and Vidura asks all questions. Maitreya ji so beautifully gives all the jnanam that was there in the second, third, fourth skandha we studied. So here also in this one chapter, these slokas, Paratattva Bhagavan is explaining to us. Again remember, just now we shared, it is not in one reading, but many readings and listenings and analysis and abiding in that permanently, that this knowledge remains with us. It's so volatile. In 1 week we become worldly. All this knowledge appears to be have lost completely. Therefore, one thing we should remember, though we may not like it at this moment in spirituality, that to reach to the heights of spirituality, we have to dedicate our entire life and time and efforts for only this. Little of we give up or do compromise and go somewhere else other than Adhyatmikata, then we lose all the highest sthiti we have reached. This having said so, frightening thing, but the encouraging thing in this itself is, and why not be with the Lord in spirituality, reaching Him, which is of the nature of mukti, nature of bliss? Why go back to the old ruts of same ego, same ragadvesha, same tussle and fighting in the world with the dravya, same karta bhoktapan, same karma and karma phala, same struggle with the relativity? So, Chofir. If the second one is thoroughly understood, then the first one will not appear to be burden. But the first one, we have to convincingly know that we have to completely be in spiritual path till reaching goal, even after. अभी तैयार होकर जाना, क्योंकि इफ ये तैयारी नहीं किया ना तो दूसरा वाला थॉट आएगा, क्या हो? इट कैन कम इन मिलियन वेज. लेट मी ट्राई लिटिल स्पिरिचुअलिटी एंड कम बैक टू वर्ल्डलीनेस. The moment you give that thought to yourself that I'll go back to worldliness, you will be ending up in going back to worldliness because of the power of that thought. And that thought is so powerful, only the person other than Brahmagnani, Atmagnani, even a yogi who enters into Samadhi for 2222 years, okay, when he wakes up, You know where will he go after that? He was not a Atma Jnana Samadhi Sthita Yogi. He was a Jada Samadhi Sthita Yogi. 2222 साल के बाद भी he will only go back to his kamandalu, to his own, what you call, whatever kaupina, he'll go back to his own, what he left halfway before entering to samadhi. It can be eating a fruit, it can be a whatever it is, he goes back. Because while entering samadhi, he had a thought कि मैं बैठकर फिर से वापस आऊंगा. You understand the danger of the mind's thoughts? Therefore, opposite of that we will make our thoughts. Ki once entered spirituality, never we come back to worldliness, samsara. We enjoy doing sadhana, we enjoy the siddhi of seeing ourselves everywhere. And that all after that we only be reveling in that only in ourselves. Whoever comes around us, they must get inspired or informed about that only. Such are the ones who are the not only relieved themselves, but they are the saviors of the world. Swayam tirnaha anyan tarayanti. Vimuktaha muchyate. Muchyante, swayam muchyante anyanapi tarayanti. They crossed, they help others also to go across this ocean of samsara. Keep that in mind. हमारे लिए बहुत दूर है हो, फिर भी that thought that we will not come back is to be kept very clearly. And why come back? Now see, you ask me, from the study of Shastra level, I will not go back into forgetting Shastra and get lost in the world. Come what may. मर जाए लेकिन नहीं जाए. Because once we came into this and got the taste of it, why should we go? Is there anything greater than reveling in the Tattva Chintanam, reveling in the Bhakti to Bhagavan, reveling in Rupanama Smarana Paramatma, reveling in doing Upasana to Him, reveling in talking to Him, reveling in Him, listening to Him? How can इस दुनिया में इससे बढ़कर? Anything else is only delusory, illusory, mindly in this way. Okay. Now, in the first few shlokas of chapter 28, Bhagavan has exhaustively explained the Paratattva, Paramatma, that alone is there. Other than that, everything on a deeper inquiry is found not to be existing. Idam gunamayam viddhi trividham maya krutam. Before that, idam trividha nirmula bhati atmani nirupita. Idam trivida bhati atmani nirmula nirupita. These are the things, see, it appears to be so fresh, as if we have never heard it. In fact, other than this, we are not listening or talking anything. Last 3-4 days, same topic. लेकिन मन का देखो खेल कैसे भुलवाता है हमको. तो यही ज्ञान मन में निरंतर रहने के लिए फिर कितना श्रवण कितना मनन करना, each one has to estimate. Is it not like that? Now, Bhagavan says, this my given knowledge to you, Jnana Vijnana Naipunnam, whoever knows it, he knows that everything is own self. There is no thing other than him. Therefore, there is no thing called as good or bad. Therefore, there is no stuti or ninda. Na nindati na chastauti. And the mukta sthiti is what? Loke charati suryavat. So here it is said like Surya in the morning class of Druk Drishya Viveka. For the Telugu people, it is said like the Nivatastha Deepaha. Nivatastita Deepavat. Svanubhuti Rasaveshat. Drishya Shabda Upekshatu. Nirvikalpa Samadhisyat. Nivatastita Deepavatu. So the air, windless place, kept flame of the lamp. How unflickeringly, in its own pristine brilliance, it is there. Illuminating everything around, untouched by anything. See that? The flickering of flame. Atma Jnanam. This is internal meditational samadhi. Gita also. Yatha deepaha nivatastha deepaha na ingate sa upama smruta yoginaha yatha chittasya yoginaha yunjataha yogam yunjataha atmanaha. Here it is Brahmanubhuti. Therefore, not a small lamp example is given. Lamp is small or bigger. The light is same only. I'm just saying that. There's no qualitative difference in a light lamp, even if it is a small or it may be big configuration. By the way, keep it in mind. But here it is Surya example. Loke charati Surya. See that movement of Surya. It is in pristine glory of brightness and brilliance. Keeps on moving, untouched by all these three worlds which he is illuminating. Now connect this with the 4 5 slokas back what is said. After realizing the self, I will illuminate all the three avasthas individually, totally, as well as the Sthula Sukshma Karana, as well as this all the triputis that are there, like the Surya, but Surya is not touched by whatever is illuminating, that would be our life. Not polluted, contaminated. Means aham mama bhava with the things which I am illuminating will never be there. The one that day when I have this, that time I was a jiva suffering. Now when I discovered myself, see self discovery is natural detachment because self never gets touched with anything. Its status is something sublime. Like when you wake up from the dream never touches the waking mind. Never contaminates because इसका उसका स्थाई अलग है. Like when the pot is broken, the pot's name and form never touch the mud. It's gone. Its sthai is different. So we will be in that mood of our own self experience. All the world of multiplicity may be there, is illumined by me, but I am touched not by them. So Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, Sthula, Sukshma, Karana, Vishwateja, Prajna, Virat, Sutratma, Hiranyam, Avyakta, like we saw it, all that goes on but never touches me. Clear? Loke charati Suryavat is a word worthy of contemplating. Some places it is said as Surya, some places it is said as Nabhavat, Akashavat. Surya is like the Chit example. Surya is light. So light illuminating everything, not touched by anything. So the consciousness in me becomes aware of everything, not touched by anything. Akasha example is given with Sat. In Akasha everything stays, but nothing touches Akasha. So too, in the pure Sat, every Nama Rupa stay, but none of them touch the Sat. Therefore, to explain the Sat Tattva of Paramatma, Akasha example. Chit Tattva of Paramatma is the Surya example. Ananda Tattva example is the Samudra, ocean. Mudam Rati iti Mudra. Samyak Mudam Rati iti Samudra. Mudam is Ananda. Rati Prayachati. Sa Samyak. Samudra, the name of that is Samyak Mudam Rati. That which gives lot of Ananda. Therefore, Samudra for Anandam. चित्त के लिए सूर्य, सत के लिए this Akasha. Example are given. It doesn't mean just like Akasha is different, Surya is different, Samudra is different, Sat, Chit, Ananda are different. No, they're all one. And in the Akasha, Surya and Samudra, finally the Sat, Chit is one only. It's only for us to use our intellect with a data to comprehend. That's it. Every explanation, every example is for the intellect to have the doubtless convincing knowledge. After that, the intellect is used for contemplation, meditation deeper. In the deepest contemplation, the understanding is pakka. At that level, even the intellect, with all its efforts and thoughts, is transcended. Then the truth on which we were doing contemplation is experienced as our own self. That is what it is. Now, pratyakshena anumanena nigamena samvida adyantavad asad jnatva nissango vicharediha. So, to find the asat tattva of the rupanama, to find the sat tattva of the atma anubhuti, these are the four things we have to do. All the four. प्रत्यक्षा we have explained. आंखों के सामने ही सब नाश हो रहा है, लेकिन कोई देख रहा है उसको जो नाश नहीं हो रहा. This is called a प्रत्यक्ष. The anuman pramana is what? That which was not there beginning, not there end, in between appears. That which was there earlier, will be there earlier, in between. Seems to be not seen, but it is there. Exhaustively we saw this topic yesterday. Agama is what? the Shastras, Vedanta Vakyas. I tell you, so beautiful those are. सिर्फ उसमें रेवल करते जाना. वेदांत वाक्येषु सदा रमन्तः भिक्षान्न मात्रेण चतुष्टिमन्तः अशोकवन्तः करुणैकवन्तः. What a beautiful panchakam that Bhagavan gave. The Shastra वाक्य में रमण करना आ गया मानो, you made your life. Whether they are Bhakti Marga Vakyas, they themselves are so sublime, beautiful. And the ज्ञान की बातें मानो अगर एक बार लग गया उसका टेस्ट, there's nothing which appears to be taste. जब तक वेदांत वाक्य रस ना मिले तब तक ही परेशानियां. एक बार इसका चस्का लग गया ना, then you will not go for even any other books also. सब फीका लगेंगे आपको. The books talking about the dharma, talking about the yoga, talking about your service to the world, talking about the values. I किस दुनिया की बात कर रहे हो जो है ही नहीं, मैं क्या करूँ उसमें? I am that Brahman. That type of beautiful thing in the Vedanta Vakya. That is called as third Pramanam, called Nigama. Nigama means conclusion. Nigamanam, conclusion. Like when any experiment is done, all the results are noted down, then this Nigamanam is given. Hypothesis in the beginning, conclusion at the end. So the conclusion of all Shastras, conclusion of these ancient sages, and concluding experience of Mukti, in which it is given, that's called as Nigama. Nigama, okay? Nigama is final conclusion. So the Shastras talk about the Nigamena. What they say? Ekam eva advayam brahma na iha nana asti kinchana. न निरोधः न च उत्पत्ति. और सर्वम ही एतद् ब्रह्म, अयम आत्मा ब्रह्म, सह अयम आत्मा चतुष्पात्. और ईशावास्यमिदम्, और नान्त प्रज्ञम न बहिष्प्रज्ञम. एषा ब्राह्मी स्थिति पार्थ ब्रह्मणो हि प्रतिष्ठा अमृतस्य अमृतस्य सूक्ष्मत्वात् तदभिज्ञेयं दूरस्थं चात्तिके च तत् न सत्तन्नाथ सदुच्यते. I'm just saying some slokas from Gita and Upanishad and other prakaranās. These are all Nigama Vakya. Okay. Then the Nigama Vakya, again under the guidance of Guru, through the Lakshana Vritti, we do the contemplation on them. So, like that, the Tattvasi Mahavakya, you all have studied in our Vakya Vritti Shastra, how the Tatpada is taken and its literal meaning is explained, then its indicated meaning is explained, then the literal meaning say, indicated meaning लिया गया भाई भागत्याग लक्षण. So to Tvam taken, its Vachyartha seen, its Lakshyartha is seen. Then from the Lakshyartha Drushti, the Tvam is called Sachidananda. From Lakshyartha Drushti, the Tat is called as Satyam Jnanavanantam. So that Sachidananda here, that Satyam Jnanavanantam there is one. Therefore, you are that. This sentence is an experience that Aham Brahmasmi. This is called as studying of Mahavakya, Vicharana of Mahavakya, Shodhanam of Mahavakya. Internally, deeply, first intellectually, later on meditation, then experience. This is called as Nigamena. When you do that, what comes is experience. That's called as Atma Samvida. Atma Samvid, knowing by your own self. That what is there is my own self, other than me, how can there be anything? Any number of Brahmandas are hanging only in the Satchit Ananda. And that Satchit Ananda is experienced as Aham. So I am that Satchidananda in whom Ananta Koti Brahmandas are coming and going. That's called Atma Samvit. They are not real. Okay? In this way, Pratyakshena Anumanena Nigamena Atma Samvida Adyantavad Asadnyatva. जिसका आदि है, जिसका अंत है, वह सत्य मध्य में भी, जो पहले भी था बाद में भी है, वो भी अभी भी है, ऐसे ज्ञात्वा. अगेन हियर निस्संगः विसरेदिह. He expresses through the upadhis, but in him there is no sangha to anything. Why? Sangha is possible when there are two things. There is no thing other than me. How can there be sangha? Sangha both we told yesterday exhaustively. Raga also is sangha, dvesha also is sangha. So the nissanga is vairagya, where both raga dvesha are not there. Which are rate. In this way you have to be. In fact, with this Bhagavan concluded his teaching. हो गया ना। अब जब बता रहे हैं कि प्रत्यक्ष अनुमान आगम नियम के द्वारा ये जो भी दिख रहा है मिथ्या जानकर अपने स्वरूप में रहकर निस्संगता से जब तक देह प्रारब्ध में रहना, पर जीवन मुक्ति, देह प्रारब्ध इज ओवर, go into the देह मुक्ति. So with this, obviously the teachings are over from Bhagavan's standpoint. So these are the 8 jewels of the Jnanam or 9 mantras we have to really study every day, contemplate every day. But Uddhavji did not get some more doubts he has got. Therefore, he started asking question, which is a very valid, pertinent question. Is it? And Bhagavan spoke from his level of experience. There is nothing other than me to get attached. Therefore, Nissangha Charit. But the listener, Uddhava, is in his own delusion that he is going through the Sukha Dukkha of the Sharira, Mana, Buddhi. So then he says, you spoke about 2 things. One side Paramatma, second side the Upadhis. Paramatma is infinite blissful, there is no bandhanam to him. Upadhis are jada, there is no bandhanam to him. But them, I am experiencing bandhanam. Then who is this fellow? Who is suffering? Kiska bandhan hai? Whose is the bondage? In the inquiry of that fellow, he disappears. I remain. I am bound disappears. Who? In the inquiry of who is bound to. Then he disappears. Who remains? Who? I am liberated. This Ramana Maharshi ji in his Darshanam gives a good example. Shadiwala. That fellow was very actively working in the marriage. So all the bride groom or groom side thought कि bride के तरफ के हैं, ही लड़की की तरफ का क्या काम कर रहा है बाबा, बढ़िया बढ़िया, इधर उधर घूम रहा है, वो दौड़ रहा है, ऑर्डर दे रहा है. एंड द ब्राइड ब्रूम टाइप आल्सो थिंकिंग ये तो ब्राइड का तरफ होगा. एंड देयर मोर सरप्राइज है, जनरली द ब्राइड ब्रूम टाइप साइड पीपल डोंट वर्क. शादियों में खा के पी के रहते हैं, हम लड़के वाले हैं, लड़ते रहते हैं. देन ही वाज गोइंग ऑन वर्किंग. देन व्हेन बोथ ऑफ देम, लड़का लड़की वाले किसी संदर्भ में बात करने लगे, then somebody took the topic कि that person of your side, I tell you, we never imagined such a hard work he does. Great. He asked which fellow, वो वाला वो ड्रेस, वो हमारा कहाँ है, तो हमने सोचा वो आपका है. नहीं, not from your side, no, not from your side, no. Then who is he? By the time they searched for that fellow, he eloped with all the golden jewels, ornaments, gone, ran away. In the same way, as long as he is not inquired, the jiva remains. Here, taking the wealth and run away, that won't be there. The jiva remains as long as he is not inquired. He gets things from the Purusha, he gets things from the Prakriti. He stations himself as if he is real and poses everything of doing as Karta, enjoying as Bhokta, both of Sukha and Dukkha through Papa and Punya. But the moment you inquire about him, like that fellow, he is found not to be there only. And what Bhagavan says there, Ramana Maharshi, is exactly what here Krishna says. This bound jiva is there only till the upadhi samipya is there. There the shloka is Rupodbhavo Rupatati Pratishtaha Rupasano Duta Gruhita Rupa Swayam Virupasva Vichara Kale Dhavatyahankara Pishachaisha. He compared that ahankar ko pishach ke sath. Rupodbhava Rupatati Pratishtha. That's a shloka. For that, this example of marriage wala idea is, as long as you don't inquire, the suffering remains. When you inquire, both, what is suffering, through what means suffering, and who is suffering? In all these 3 questions, the answer is there's nobody suffering, there's no means of suffering, there is no things because of which there is suffering. Maja aega wala. That is why only one shloka of entire Shastra is what? Avichara krutaha bandhaha vicharena nivartayet. Non-thinking, non-contemplation, with the help of Shastras, is the cause of all bondage. With the help of Shastriya Jnanam, when you start doing the research, inquiry, contemplation, thinking, viveka, vicharana, all bandham gone. We do everything other than doing inquiry. Therefore, towards everything comes along with bandhana. Do nothing, just do inquiry. No thing to be done, the bondage goes away. Because in the inquiry, the truth is known as it is. The untruth is known as it is. In the mixture of truth and untruth only, there is a bondage. Neither is bondage in the truth nor in the untruth. मिलावट में ही problem है. This is how the question. Let us see the question and answer we saw yesterday. Today also we'll repeat it because this is the main thing we have to catch in our heart. बाकी सारे डिटेल्स हैं, एक्सप्लेनेशंस है, efforts to inform or convince hai. This is the crux. So this portion should be thoroughly studied as I said yesterday also. Let us see. Uddhava uvacham naivatmano na dehasya samsrutir drashtu drusyayoh anatma swadrushorisha kasya syat upalabhyate. So, naiva atmanaha na dehasya samsrutihi. There is no samsara to the atma vastu and to the deha. तीनों देह हमने देखा कल स्थूल सूक्ष्म कारण. And one is drashta, another is drishya. And drashta is always the chaitanya swarupa, swadrushaha. Then the drishya is the jada swarupa. So in the jada there cannot be samsara. In the shuddha chaitanya swarupa atma there is no samsara. Then kasya syat? Then who is the one who is going through sukha dukkha? See, should we not ask it? I am dukkhi, we say. Which I am dukkhi? Is it not? Please, the point is one, everybody knows I. But everybody is confused with I. 99.999 100% for us, I means upadhyukta I. But actually real I is free from upadhi. That free from upadhi I is me, not the upadhi yukta. Then why upadhi yukta I? It's only your vivek rahina hai na. Avivek sahi hai wo. So is the question clear? It is not a question Uddhava asking Krishna. Krishna answering Uddhava. It is Uddhava asking himself, finding answer from within. Data is supplied by Krishna. We take also that data. We also do the inquiry in us. That is why the entire life of the great Bhagavan Ramana is only on this. Don't worry about your dukkha, etc. Think about to whom is this dukkha. In that inquiry, he takes us to the real self, where other than that, there is no other thing to give its dukkha, and it itself is the infinite Satchidananda. हो गया? हम क्या कर रहे हैं? दुख को, दुखी को सत्य मान कर, दुख के कारण बाहर ढूंढकर उसको चेंज करने का कोशिश कर. सी, चेंज हो रहा है, ये दुख जा रहा है, बट जिसको पकड़ के छोड़ा हमने उससे फिर से दुख आता है. Anything we do in any world, Skula Sukshma Karana, this and higher, we are not going to get liberated. Because liberation is because of Upadhi only. And the moksha, bondage is because of Upadhi, liberation is in the self only. Clear? Now the question is clear. More specifically, he says, Uddhavaji, Atma Vyayo Guna Suddha Shuddha Swayam Jyotirana Vrataha Agnivaddaruvadachito Deha Kasyaiha Samsrudihi. In the 1.5 line, he spoke about the gunas of the Shuddha Atma Vastu. In the second line, he spoke about the guna of the Upadhi Deha. Both of them, when you scrutinize, both of them cannot have the samsara. So, Atma क्या है? अव्ययः. There is no खर्चा in it. क्योंकि जब खर्चा होता है तभी खत्म हो रहा है करके दुख होता है. So, imperishable, never diminishing is the self. Then also agunaha. It is beyond 3 gunas and also any of the good or bad gunas. Then it is Shuddha. Self is immaculate. There is no sense of otherness in it. Swayam Jyotihi, it is resplendent. Swayam self-effulgent Jyotihi. Anavrutaha, it is not covered by the Maya. Agnivatu, like this fire it is. But what about Deha? Darvat Achita Deha. The Dehas are like the wood, they are all the Jada Padarthas. Kasya यह संस्कृति ही याद करना इस बात को वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट द सेल्फ इन मी इज ऑफ दिस क्वालिटीज कांट हैव बाउंडेज द बॉडी दिस वन और सूक्ष्म शरीर और कारण देर ऑल जड़ दे आल्सो कैनॉट हैव संसार if this question is understood half we have gone through we have finished the remaining half is when you know the answer of it and implement it on the seat of inquiry and ध्यान बस प्रश्न समझ में आना ही एक महान बात है फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल व्हाट इज samsara is the pairs of opposite of sukha dukkha labha hani jara parajaya all that is samsara हमको उसमें एक चाहिए एक नहीं चाहिए और जो चाहते हैं नहीं मिलता जो नहीं चाहिए वो छूटता नहीं What I want, it never comes to me. What I don't want, it never leaves to me. What I want, I run toward that, it goes away from me. What I don't want, I run away from that, it goes on chasing me. In this way, running towards, running away is samsara. In that result is what? Tired only. You know, ये खेल क्या है ना ऐसे होता है जिंदगी वाला we just to run toward the world what we want running away from what we don't want run one day we just die and again the moment we are born in a new body again the same thing run what you want running it never is caught run away from that we don't want till what till we die again we are born and what do we do bhago 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 is it not this bhago is not necessarily physically only in the mind. Here the running means instability of the mind. Having all sankalpa, vikalpa, kamana, we try to fulfill them through dehendriyadi. Never we are stable, quiet or we can't. Only the one who wants to know the self can quieten his mind. Having known the self, there is no mind. Therefore, always it's called prashanti, absolute peace. So understand the question. What is samsara? You understand? To the Atma there is no samsara. To the Upadhis there is no samsara. But the experience of samsara is going on. Then to whom? Like Sukha, Dukkha, let us say. In the Atma there is no Sukha, but it is Ananda Swarup. In the Deha there is no Sukha because it is Jada. Who is experiencing this then? So to in the pure Atma there is no Dukkha. To the Deha there is no Dukkha. देह को दुख नहीं होता है याद रखना देह को सिचुएशन होता है whether it is born or dying or deceased that is only a phenomena in that जड़ा उसको नहीं होता दुख देन किसको है देखो कस्यचित सुख संसारः स्यात् कस्य यह संस्कृतिः whose is the samsara now the answer is given it is so simple I told you yesterday 10 minutes spent that simple answers we don't like them we want the complicated ones we never understand therefore simple not taken complicated not possible life is always solutionless problem everywhere it is so simple love your parents serve them and take what they give what you can kitna simple hai life but do you think we want to do like that complicated no we want independence no we want to show our greatness क्या क्या नाटक करके go away from parents and suffer everywhere it is so अच्छा नौकरी मिला सिंपली करो रिटायर होने तक गेट योर सैलरी पेंशन नो ये वो घोटाले करते जाते कॉम्प्लिकेटेड इज इट नॉट everywhere we just complicate our life we are such a stupid fellows भूख लगी थोड़ा दिमाग लगाकर एग्जैक्टली जो खाना खाने से तबीयत होगा ठीक खाओ ना नो complicated yesterday you see that in that status that thought we gave Food take first considering spiritual sadhana, then the stomach, then only the importance to the tongue. साधना की दृष्टि से कौन सा हेल्प करेगा वही भोजन करो. सो टू पेट के दृष्टि से बाद में देन ओनली थिंक अबाउट द टंग. डोंट रिवर्स इट. ईटिंग फॉर द सेक ऑफ टंग, नॉट केयरिंग स्टमक एंड sadhana. That is not right. Okay? Now Bhagavan's answer to the question, who is suffering? Let us say, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. These four slokas are important. And the fifth one is, like in Rudra Viveka, here also, Bhagavan therefore defines who is Jiva. And it's an assembly. You can any day dissolve the assembly and declare emergency or president rule. Okay. Shri Bhagavanuvacho yavaddehendriya pranaihi atmanah sannikarshanam samsarah palavan tavat apartopya vivekinah yavaddehendriya pranaihi atmanah sannikarshanam samsarah palavan tavat apartopya vivekinah. We have fully explained this sloka yesterday. And luckily or unluckily, fully we have forgotten. Fully we have to study again. One by one word. Yavat, as long as. Dehendriya pranaihi, with the deha, with indriyas, means all the 14 of them, pranaihi, pancha pranas, atmanaha, of the self. Which self? You only. So nikarshanam, proximity is there. As long as there is a proximity of me to this Dehendra Pranadi Sanghata, okay, then samsara palavan tavat. Till that time there is a samsara. Aparthopi, even though in reality it is not there. Apartha means, artha is reality. Apartha is though it is unreal. Palavan means still it gives experiences of sukha dukkha. Till what time? As long as there is a proximity of I to the upadhis. Okay? So, when my attention is shifted from the I, immediately the not I is imagined and towards that I am pulled. Then this not I, which was never there, appears to be real. Then I am bound in that tada. And how is our सन्निकर्षण में दो उपाधि सा 3 वर्ड मैंने यूज किया ना, याद है हमने? अहम मम मह्यम, मैं मेरा मेरे लिए, me mine to me. These are the 3 relations with which I establish my sannikarshanam with these upadhis of dehendra prana atma. Then my sannikarshanam to them is making them real, making them appear real, making me get bound by them, and making me feel the experiences of sukha dukkha when in the upadhis, when the changes are happening. No, the moment if you can catch the answer, this one, everything of Vedanta is understood. Upadhis, are they are there or not? If you say they are there, they are there. If you say they are real, they are real. If you say they are required to involve with aham mama and mahyam bhavana, you will do that. Then with that you can't avoid the sukha dukkha. The more we detach from the upadhi by reducing mahyam, mama and aham, to that extent, the apartha samsruti slowly goes away. And exactly when I sit back and establish in myself, there is none of the upadhi nor the samsara. So the trick what we have to understand here is what? As we started yesterday explaining it, what is there is self alone. Okay? What is there is self alone. That is the ultimate scriptural spiritual truth. And that is what is our goal to reach to also. Keep it in mind. Now I am suffering. सुख दुखी मैं ही कर रहा हूं ना सफरिंग. सो मैं कौन हूं? एक ही मैं है, 2 मैं नहीं. उपाधियुक्त मैं इज जीवा सफरिंग, निरुपाधिक मैं इज आत्मा लिबरेट. So there are two selves in me, one bound, one liberated. The knowledge you have to refresh now. I alone today with the upadhi bound. Alone I am liberated when I go beyond upadhi. And all those things that are done, outside and inside innermost, to transcend the upadhi totally, is called as adhyatmika sadhana. And the siddhi is what? Nirupadhika atma anubhuti. Thereafter, there is no upadhi, therefore there is no samsara. Every example is that only. I have scooter upadhi, then sukha dukkha. With regard to scooter. Scooter है ही नहीं मेरे को, वो संसार नहीं रहेगा. If I have a cycle, then that samsara will be there. If I have a car, that samsara will be there. तो जो कुछ भी मैं और मेरे के रूप में संसार. These are all outer upadhi. It can be the house, it can be the scooters, it can be the bank balance, all the material things. Living beings also same. Every living being is an upadhi. Through them, I become something. That becoming is samsara. Through the wife, husband, through the children, the father, through the father, son, through the friend, a friend. So, क्या हो रहा है? उपाधि सन्निकर्षणम give me some particular identity. That identity is suffering. That identity, that entity is suffering. That entity is me. Is it not? Very clear it is. I at this moment alone, I am the samsari as a jiva because of upadhi sannikarshanam. When I go away from the upadhis completely, in my own deep meditation, I am no more with the upadhi, the jiva nahi hai, so there is no samsara. Therefore, choice is with us. Do you want to be a samsari through the upadhi? Do you want to be a mukta by going away from upadhi? इतना ही सिंपल है वेदांत. अब चॉइस लेने में हमको हजारों जन्म लगते हैं कि नहीं, आई डोंट वांट टू बी उपाधि, आई वांट टू बी निरुपाधिक. वी हैव नॉट गॉट दैट. हमको विथ द उपाधि ओनली वी डोंट वांट द दुख और एनीथिंग, वी वांट एंडलेस हैप्पीनेस, व्हिच इज इम्पॉसिबल. कैसे कोई शॉप में ना, ई टोल्ड इट इज 100 रुपए, यू आस्क फॉर 70 रुपए. ई सेड सर हमको ही 90 में आता है, 10 रुपए का उसको हम बेच रहे हैं, नहीं दे सकते. नो, यू आर सिटिंग देयर. हाउ लॉन्ग यू सिट? एज लॉन्ग एज यू सिट यू विल नॉट गेट इट. कभी कभी तरस खाकर टू गेट यू आउट ही मे गिव इट फॉर 70 एट इज ओन 20 रुपी लॉस. It may be possible, but in this spirituality is not possible that you are with the upadhi and still you are endlessly happy, always happy. You can never. He is the impossible. He hai. Therefore, whether we will be able to do it or not in one life or 20 lives, what we have to spiritually get informed, convinced is upadhiyukta jiva I is the samsari with dukkha sukha. Nirupadhiga I is the Atma who is Mukta. बस इतना है. Then the upadhis are Sthula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, Karana Shariram in one language. Sattva Gunam, Rajo Gunam, Tamo Gunam in another language. Then Jagrata Avastha, Sapna Avastha, Turiya Avastha, another language. Then Vishwa Taisa Pragna in another language. Then the Pancha Koshas is another language. Then all the 24 Prakriti Tattvas another language. भाषा कुछ भी हो, बात यही कह रहे हैं. That with the upadhi I am, and with these, along with the subject upadhis of the panchakoshas etc., we are extending our upadhi by all these the worldly things. Is it not? So many of things. Academics we study, that is upadhi. Jobs we get, that is another upadhi. Some arts, crafts we learn, that is another upadhi. Bank balance we maintain, that's an upadhi. Everything is upadhi. In every one of them, you see, everybody has a peak period of sukha, a peak period of dukkha also. संसार में है कोई भी, सब बंदे को संसार में है ना. Now, to put it in simple form, first because of ignorance of the self, jiva upadhi. Then later on that the Deha Upadhi. Then in this world, hundreds of Upadhis. So many are there. Freely we have only taken Avel Mujamar to suffer in this world. And always we have a choice to give up all the upadhi and stay in your nirupadhika Atma Tattva. That is the only place where the samsara goes away. That is why even Chaturmukha Brahma Upadhi also is Bandhana Karanam. But Chaturmukha Brahma need not be bound if he is the knower of the self. Definitely bound if he is not the knower of self. Therefore, with knowledge of self or without knowledge of self also, one can be as big as Brahma, one can be as big, small as a human being also. So, whether you are a human, whether you are Brahmadeva is not the question. Are you identify the Upadhi or you are knowing that you are Nirupadhika Atma? Establishing in our correct knowledge of the self. Again repeating, establishing in our correct knowledge of the self. That establishing is called as after experience establishing. Establishing in the correct knowledge of self. That's called as Samyak Jnanam. Atma Jnana. Samyak Atma. Now also we are Atma. But every time, whenever we are asked, who are you? We are telling definitely about ourselves only, but not without Upadhi. Is it not? That much is our identification. Upadhi happened. And in the Laukika Jagat, that way only it works. In the computer, if it asks you what is your name, if you say that I'm Brahman or I don't have Nama Rupa, that will laugh at you. Ki karke. There you have to write your Upadhi only. Mr. So and so, so much of height, weight. व्यवहार में जरूरत ही है वो. Is it not? व्यवहार के लिए ही जरूरत है वो. पारमार्थिक में we have to transcend all उपाधि. So इतना समझ लो. उपाधि के कारण बंधन है, निरुपाधिक में मोक्ष है. That shloka in Vivek Chudavan. उपाधिरायाति सयैव गच्छति सयैव जीर्णन मरेते तथा च तस्माद् उपाधेर विलयाय विद्वान वसेत सदा कल्प समाधि निष्ठया. Hey, my dear Vidwan, if you really are Vidwan, to get out of the upadhis, to dissolve the upadhis from your proximity or identity, always stay in your nirvikalpa samadhi. That's what our Telugu people are studying. Savikalpa, nirvikalpa. तस्मादुपाधेर विलयाय विद्वन् तस्मादुपाधेर विलयाय विद्वन् वसेत सदा कल्प समाधि निष्ठया. No, yesterday what example we gave, please don't forget. Crystal is crystal clear always. Any clothes brought together makes the crystal appear like that color, but it never got the color. When the upadhis or the clothes or colored clothes are kept away or a flower, crystal is crystal clear. In the example, cloth, crystal, they always exist, but in the self, when you go to the self, the cloth and flower are not there even to influence. Everything is me. So what Vedanta says, only this much. आत्म स्वरूप का ज्ञान नहीं होने के कारण जिसको अज्ञान अविद्या कहते हैं, उस अविद्या से उत्पन्न सारे उपाधियां मेरे ऊपर पढ़कर मैं ही उपाधि युक्त जीवा संसारी बन रहा हूं. In the ignorance of the self, the projected not self is superimposed on me. I only am living as the superimposed entity, the jiva, conditioned entity. Technically, the three words are used in our Vedanta. Again, we have seen it in Drukdushaveka. First is avarana. Second is vikshepa. Third is aropa or adhyaropa. Avarana is self is not known as it is. Vikshepa is something other than the self is imagined. Third, aropana is that thing is taken as self. Rope not seen, avarana. Snake projected, vikshepa. Snake projected on the rope is aropana. In such a way, there is no rope, only snake. So, in such a way, there is no pure self, only the jiva. Who is the substratum of the snake rope only? Who is the substratum of this jiva? Self only. And at the highest level of Vedanta, वो क्या बोलती है? All this substantially looking dehadi, is it not Indriyadi, are so substantial and real because of too much value attention given to it. Like the dreams, Deha Adi, are so substantial. They are so real. In dream, when you fall, you really get hurt, the blood starts oozing, it is so paining, bones are broken, bone setting is done. इतना रियल रहता है वो अनुभव, the good smells, the bad smells, the tasty food you eat of an ice cream or something. In dream, everything is so good, so real, substance. When you wake up, सब माया. समझ गया? In the same way, right now, because we give value, everything is appearing to be real, tangible. On the quiet seat of meditation, when we go deep into the self and get into that, from that standpoint, all of that is either not there. If it is there, it is my own self. The concepts of Stula Sukshma Karana never taken as real, they are only concepts. Very important. थोड़ा थोड़ा दिमाग और थोड़ा लगाना पड़ेगा. So the answer is given. As long as for me the samsari now, there is a proximity with the upadhis, so long I will be the samsari with all sukha dukkha, though in reality there is no samsara. So what? When I go away from the upadhi by my choice, I am in the Atma Vastu. There are no upadhi, there is no samsara. So there are not two Atmas. Atma one. Sopadika Jiva, Nirupadika Atma. Jiva Sopadika is Baddha, Nirupadika Atma is Mukta. Is it getting clear? Think about it. And with this knowledge, now think what we are doing the whole day. All those by which we are bound as samsari jiva only. Then how do we get the mukti? Please remember, when you are studying 1,000 shastras or one shastras, being the self alone is mukti. Becoming something through upadhi is bandhana. कुछ भी हो. इसलिए नचिकेता knows it. That's why he said, tell me the jnanam of Atma only. Any other thing, I don't want because I know it binds. बढ़िया सा है वो example. Now Bhagavan says, the sloka 13 which we saw 3 chapters back, also exactly the same sloka came. Very, very powerful it is to be written there in your own mirror somewhere, only for you, not for everyone. Everyone are not in this level of regularly listening to Bhagavatadi from 2 years and thus blessed by Guru and God to be able to comprehend these sublime meanings as a support for internal sadhana to know the self. बाकी सबको नहीं बोलना है, ओनली जो अधिकारी होते हैं उन्हीं के लिए. हम we are not here to tell others, we are here to do our sadhana and realize. I'm also not telling you, I'm thinking loudly. That's it. Chant the mantra, Arte Hyavidyamanipi Samsrutirna Nivartate Dhyayato Vishayan Asya Swapne Narthagamo Yatha Arte Hyavidyamanipi Samsrutirna Nivartate Dhyayato Vishayan Asya Swapne Narthagamo Yatha. This in our Drugdrushveka was the sloka number 81. अंतःकरणवृत्तिश्च चितिच्छायैक्यमागत वासना कल्पयेत् स्वप्ने बोधेक्षैर्विषयान् बहिः. That sloka, this sloka go together. Literal meaning we will see today. Details we will contemplate tomorrow. थोड़ा थोड़ा जाने दो. Okay? अर्थे ही अविद्यमाने. अर्थे ही अविद्यमाने means what? Even though the things are really they are not there. Samsutir na nivardate. Mm. So arthe havidyamanepi means artha means reality. Really, all the three are not there. Jiva is not there, upadhis are not there, samsara is not. इन तीनों का अर्थ नहीं है really. Still, the anartha through all these three are happening to us. Exactly like in dream. Dream was not there. But when we were in the dream, it appeared to be there, giving all those experiences. ड्रीम में जन्म भी होता है, मरण भी होता है, जेल में भी जाते हैं या बड़ा सा कोई आइलैंड में भी जाते हैं, मालदीव्स, बिकॉज दे आर सबमर्जिंग इन ओशन इन सम ईयर्स. देख के आएंगे थोड़ा. In the dream, you go to sky, you go to islands, you go to lelands, you land and everywhere. रंग दिखते हैं वहाँ, रूप दिखते हैं, वस्तु दिखते हैं, व्यक्ति दिखते हैं, शब्द स्पर्श रूप इंद्रियां भी होते हैं, उसका कांटेक्ट भी होता है. यू एक्सपीरियंस इट ऑल्सो. Everything what you have in waking are there in dream also. In dream, you have education, you have a position, you have respect and all, you have all the jobs. क्या क्या नहीं है वो? Your bank account balance, your business, your traveler there, your talented person, जो भी है. When you wake up, think about it 1000 बार. The dream waking exam इतना बार समझना है हमको कि it should give us an idea. Therefore, similarly is this waking world is as unreal as dreamer till I awaken to my real self. This is the most difficult thing for a guru to convey to a disciple, for the disciple to catch also. But once it enters into his भेजा दिमाग में कि सपने के समान जागृत भी मिथ्या है, जागृत में आने से जैसा सपन खत्म हुआ, along with this all samsara sukha dukkha, वैसे ही when I awaken to my real self, this waking dream also goes away. If this is convinced, then half of the job is done. Now rise above this jagrata avastha also by the study and contemplation meditation in which the real I in me is searched. In the real I me search, the two ways are what? One, keep on searching who am I, you will reach. When you reach it, you will find it to be Satchidananda. Other easier method is what? You are already told by the Shastra that you are Satchidananda, then hold on to yourself as Satchitananda. Give up all that which is Asat Achitananda, then you remain Satchidananda. The first one is called Drushyanuvidya, this is called Shabdanuvidya. Savikalpa Samani. I'm just referring the morning class discussion. Arteha vidyamanevī samsrutirna nivartate purushasya. And why is it all? Purushasya dhyayato vishayanasya. Only because of Vishaya Dhyana, they are all appearing to be there to bind us. Swapne anartha agama yatha. Swapna here unreal, but in that all anarthas are there we experience. नहीं है फिर भी वी आर सफरिंग. सांप नहीं है फिर भी हम डर रहे हैं. सोना नहीं है फिर भी हम पकड़ रहे हैं. इन दैट ना सोना या चांदी. यही है वेदांत का मजा. एंड these rishis have just by being detached with the world and senses, they could catch that. And when they experienced it, yaar, puzzle solve ho gaya. This is reality. Other than there's nothing else. How come we were? Arre yaar, it's all Maya delusion. I don't know. We can't explain that. But luckily, we are now liberated. Then people will ask, they cannot be as faithful like us. Therefore, to answer them, they bring the word of Ishvara, word of Maya, word of Triguna. ये सारा हमें खुश करने के लिए. फाइनली बात क्या है? सबको छोड़कर परमात्मा को पकड़ना. Like the mother gives all stories to the child to feed him. Once the feeding is over, she will not even tell one word also of story. मम्मी यू लेफ्ट द चंदा मामा स्टोरी हाफ में. कल फिर खाने के टाइम बोलेंगे मैं, यू स्टूपिड फेलो, माय जॉब इज नॉट टू टेल स्टोरी, आई हैव टू फीड यू. So Shruti Mata's job is not to tell the stories of Ishvara, Jiva, Jagat, Maya, Triguna. No, no, no. Ishvara, the Shruti's purpose is to tell us you are the liberated, eternally liberated self. Don't get confused. Huh? Listen, 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 listen. Don't just stop not till the understanding become bakka. As I told you, what understanding we did not have 2 years back, slowly it is coming. That is a sign that when you continue listening, more and more deeper, subtler understanding, conviction happens. है ना? समझदारी भी आएगा, निश्चय भी आएगा. Then you do sadhana, then you reach the experience. Only four: understand, conviction, sadhana, siddhi. All of that are done through listening, contemplating, listening, contemplating. Guru gives data, Shastra gives data, we use it to contemplate, gives us understanding, it gives conviction. You practice that conviction on Siddha meditation, you transcend Upadhi, experience this. Clear? This sloka has a lot to discuss. Tomorrow we do that. सपने का ही एग्जाम्पल यहाँ 2-3 श्लोकों में लेते हैं. इन द 16th मंत्र जीव इज डिफाइंड. 17, 18, 19, 20. One shloka is having the solid stuff of 2 days discussion. But let us see what Lord wants for us, from us. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Sri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. Join me in 2 minutes for our again same type of discussion in Adhyatma Ramayana.